We've now completed the informative speeches. We're going on to persuasion. What I need you to do is go get your workbook, turn to whatever page in your workbook has Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and have that notebook page ready in your workbook before you continue on with this lecture. Okay, we're going to talk about Monroe's motivated sequence and Maslow's hierarchy of needs. These two theories are going to be used for our persuasive speech. In this speech, persuasion has some major elements that are more than what you have in an informative speech. We want more pathos, more ethos, and more logos. This theory of Monroe's motivated sequence has been around a long time. Actually, Alan Monroe developed this theory in 1935. What does this mean? It means it's a good theory. It's been around a long time. It's been proven to work. And what he says is that this is a motivated sequence, a way to motivate somebody to persuade them to do what you want them to do or be what you want them to be. But is it going to work 100% of the time? No, it is not. People have volition and they have will. You will not always be persuasive when you use the 5 steps, but Alan Monroe's theory is that you will be motivating people and be more persuasive if you do 5 specific things. So let's look at what are these 5 things. The first is to grab attention. You not only want to grab attention, you want to keep the audience's attention. In your speech, you are going to try to persuade your audience to buy a product, visit a place, or use a service. So you're going to try to persuade your audience by grabbing their attention and keeping their attention throughout the speech. And it's in most of your speeches you use 2 of 12. A rhetorical question, exciting noise, a surprising statistic. These things are attention grabbing, but you want to have more of those in a persuasive speech than you normally would have in an informative speech, because you're not only trying to grab attention, you want to keep that attention all the way to the end of your speech. That's the first step. The second step is the needs step, and this is not what the speaker needs. If you have a sweeper salesman come to your house and they say, oh, I need to make a sale by 5 o'clock tonight, you're not going to be motivated to buy his sweeper. He has to make you feel that you need it. You have to arouse in your audience a want or a need for your product, your place, or your service. And why do you need to do that, you say? Well, in persuasion, one of the things that's key element is that you're trying to arouse in your audience cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance, it will be on one of your conceptual adventures. You probably want to write this down. Cognitive, what does the word mean? It means thinking. Dissonance, what is that? It's discord, disharmony, disunity. It's discombobulated, out of whack. These are the kind of things. Think of me as your brain calm. Now I will show you a brain that is full of cognitive dissonance. Now, can people live like this if their brain's like that? No. They have to get more information. They're confused. Their brain is confused, and they need more information. When you're trying to persuade somebody, you want their brain to feel out of whack until you've persuaded them to buy your product, use your service, or visit the place you have in mind. We hate it when our own brain has cognitive dissonance, but you're going to try to arouse that dissonance in your hearers when you're trying to be persuasive. So what kind of needs do people have? It isn't what the speaker needs. You're going to try to make your audience feel they need your product, your place, or your service. In comes our second theory, which is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Abraham Maslow developed this theory in 1943. So again, this theory's been around a long time. There are parts of the theory I'm not really thrilled with. Have you ever heard the statement, eat the fish and spit out the bones? Well, there's a little bit of this theory I don't really like, because Mr. Maslow was a humanist and he didn't have my worldview. But there's many elements of this theory I do like, so I've kept it, and we're going to use it for this persuasive speech. So he says that there's a hierarchy of needs. Hierarchy. What does that mean? That means there's levels of importance. And he says that People have a variety of needs, but the levels of importance differ. So down here, if you turn to your page in your workbook, you'll see that you have two triangles. The top triangle is going to have the names of these levels. The bottom triangle is going to be examples of those levels. So what are these levels? First, on the bottom, number 1, physiological. People have physical needs. What are examples that you want to put on the bottom triangle on that page in your workbook? Examples of physiological needs are water, air, shelter, and food. People need those things or they're not going to live. Once they have those needs met, the next level of needs are called safety, and that's what you'll put on the top triangle. The bottom triangle under that number 2 would be examples of safety needs, and it's not just safety from physical harm like somebody shooting you with a gun. When you walk into a classroom, you need to be emotionally safe. You need to know that when you give your speech, other people aren't going to make fun of you, or that I'm not going to come down on you for something and you don't have to be afraid psychologically. We also need to feel safe from the chemicals. We are bombarded with chemicals, and we need to feel safe from the products and the foods we use. So there's a lot of different areas of safety that we feel we need. The next level up are your relational needs. Sometimes they're called your love needs. On the bottom triangle, this is not only love of a sexual nature, it's also the love of family, the love of friends. You can say, especially you guys, I don't mean to be sexist, but a lot of guys think, I don't need anybody, I'm fine just like I am. No, we aren't a tree and we're not a table. We are people, and people need people, and they need to feel that they are important to other people. So we really do have a need for love. But if somebody's choking you and you don't have enough air, you're not going to be thinking about the hot date on Friday night. You need to have your physical needs met before your safety needs. And once you feel safe, for example, if you're in a foxhole in World War II, or right now you're over in Iraq or Iran, and you've got people that are going to try to shoot you, you're not really going to think about, oh, does she love me tonight? So these are in order of how they have to be met. The next level, number 4, is esteem. You can say, well, I don't have very good self-esteem. People have a need to feel good about themselves. So esteem goes on the top triangle. On the bottom, it's not only self-esteem, but we need to have self-confidence. We need to feel good about ourselves. And if these other needs are met, the next thing we want is we want to have a feeling that our life has purpose and that we are important. The top one's the one where I get a little off with Mr. Maslow. He calls the top one, which is what you'll put on the top triangle, self-actualization. And his definition of that would be that we all become like little gods. But the fact is, I don't really think that way. So on the bottom triangle, on the top, what I say is we all have the need to be the best we can be. You don't have to be as good as your neighbor, and you don't have to be as good as someone else. You just need to feel that you are being the best you can be. And when you're not, your self-esteem will suffer, and you're not going to feel good about yourself. So there are all these needs that Maslow explains, but are they all the needs we have? No. We have monetary needs, and I would put this somewhere on your paper or on another side in your workbook. I put a dollar sign. That stands for money. Most people have the need to either save money or not spend money unwisely, or to have good value with what they purchase. So many people, you need to make them feel like the money they're going to spend, they're going to more than get their money's worth, and that they're getting good value for their money. Now, speaking of money, one word I do not want to hear in your speech is the word cheap. Cheap has the connotation of poor quality. And we don't ever want to tell somebody, oh, buy this product, it's cheap. No. What other words could we use? Well, we could say it's affordable, less expensive, good value for the dollar, big bang for your buck. It's cost effective. There's a million ways, maybe not a million, that was an exaggeration, but there are many ways that you can say that something is going to be cost effective, Do not use the word cheap in your speech or you will lose some points. Next is time. People have a need to know that they're spending their time wisely and that they're not wasting time. So your product, your place, or your service might want to tell people about how time-saving it is. People have sexual needs, whether they're married or not, or male or female. So when you go to a car show and the hot babes are sitting on the car, what does that say? Has that got anything to do with the car? No, but they're appealing to your sexual needs as if to say, buy this car and it will be a babe magnet. So often in marketing, those of you who are marketing majors often say to me, yeah, we're taught sex sells. So it might be that your product, your place, or your service will be something that you'll want to talk about the person's sexual needs. 5 senses. I hope you're writing all these down on your workbook page because you're going to need them when you do your paper. 5 senses. What does that mean? People have a need to have their 5 senses be pleasurable. We want to smell things that are smelling good, taste good, feel good, look good, sound good. We wouldn't want to say to somebody, oh, come to this restaurant. The meat's real tough and it tastes bad. No, we want to make people know that if you buy this product, use this service, or visit this place, things are going to smell good, taste good, look good, feel good. You're going to try to appeal to the 5 senses because people have a need to have those be good, not bad. Spiritual needs. Perhaps your product or place or service will actually enhance a person's, now being spiritual is sort of in vogue, or it's pop culture-ish to be spiritual. People seem to feel they have a need to be spiritual, and maybe your product or place or service can deal with that. The bottom is educational. Let's say your place is a museum. You want to highlight the educational advantages of going to that museum. So as you can see, there are all kinds of needs that you can arouse cognitive dissonance in your audience, make them feel like they need your product, your place, or service by thinking of as many of these kind of needs as you possibly can. That was step number 2 of Monroe's motivated sequence. The needs of the audience, not the speaker. While we're on that point, often we want to talk about what we need. That is not what this is. It's what is the needs of your audience that you can stir up the cognitive dissonance. Next is satisfaction. There's only one thing that's going to satisfy all these needs. It's your product, your place, or your service in your speech. So there's only one of number 3. Also, there's only one of number 5. It says call to action. At the end of your speech, you're going to actually ask your audience to do something. Call an 800 number, visit a website, go see your travel agent, fill out a card. You have to ask your audience. In marketing, they call this making the close. You have to close out your speech by asking your audience to do something specific. There's one thing that'll satisfy, and you need one call to action. But in between those, the word is visualizations. Visualizations, what does that word mean? It is not your visual aid. You do not want to show a visual aid and say, this is a visualization. No, visualizations are word pictures. They make people imagine things. So, words like walking along the sandy beach with the warm sunshine and the aquamarine water, or when you go to Red Lobster, the succulent shrimp, the warm, buttery, garlic cheesy biscuits that melt in your mouth. You want to give word pictures that help somebody imagine something. So in your speech, you will actually use the word imagine at least one time. So let me give you a quick example of what this would be. Let's say I come home on Friday night. I want to go out to Chinese. I love Chinese food. George is my husband. He hates Chinese food. He wants to go to Ruth Chris Steakhouse. He wants beef. But we went to Ruth Chris Steakhouse the last 5 times we went out to eat. I want to go to Chinese, but I know full well he hates it. Let's look and see what we're going to do. First, I'm going to grab his attention. How can I do that? For some of you, you might cry. Would not work with my man. He wouldn't like crying. But I could say, you know, if you be nice to me and go out for Chinese, later I'll be nice to you and give you a foot rub. Or maybe I will get his attention by he often says, happy wife, happy life. You put that on our refrigerator. I could grab his attention by kind of throwing a fit and saying, I'm not going to be happy. But would throwing a fit do it? Probably not. I need to appeal to what are his needs. What do I need? I need to go to Chinese, but I need to arouse cognitive dissonance in him. One of the things I might say is, you know, when you married me, you said you were going to try to make me happy. And it will make me very happy to go to Chinese, and you'll be pretty selfish if we don't, because we've gone to the steakhouse the last 5 times. Maybe we have a need to save money. We're going to go on a trip soon, and we're saving money for that trip. Every time we go to Ruth Chris Steakhouse, we drop $100. Both of us can eat Chinese food for less than $15. We both want to lose some weight. What kind of need is that? At the Chinese restaurant, they've got a lot of vegetables and steamed food and things that are not high in calorie. Okay, he doesn't like Chinese food. I can tell him, remember that really creamy macaroni and cheese they have that you loved? I can tell him, talk about how good it would taste. And besides, the Ruth Chris Steakhouse is half an hour away. The Chinese place is right around the corner. It takes 2 minutes to get there. And you know, when it back to this money issue, it'll save us a lot of gas and a lot of time if we just go to the Chinese. So I make him feel like he needs to go there, not just that I do. Only one thing is going to satisfy those needs. What is it? To go to the China buffet. Now, I've made him visualize how we're going to save money and we're going to save time and how happy I'm going to be. And when we get home, I'm going to make him very happy because he made me happy, I'll make him happy. Oh, it all will work. But finally, I got to say, okay, can we get in the car now and go? I got to actually close the deal and have a call to action. That's how this works. So, in your speech, make sure that you have all these needs met, as many as you can. In your Monroe's Motivated Sequence document for this speech, you need 3 things attached to your rubric. One is a full preparation outline with all the normal things of a full preparation outline. Roman numerals 1, 2, 3, your visual aids, caps and bold, everything that you normally have. Your transitions are bolded, your full preparation outline, not a speech map, even though there's an example of one in your workbook. Secondly, you need a bibliography because this speech is going to require a certain number of oral citations. Check your rubric and check your assignment details for how many sources you need, and for every source that's on your bibliography, you need to have at least 1 oral citation, which is source, verb, data. 1 full oral citation for each thing that you have on your bibliography page. But third, and this is different for this speech, you'll have a Monroe's Motivated Sequence document. It has an MLA header, and what I ask you to do is have 5 attention grabbers, 5 needs, and 5 visualizations. That's 15 things. You may list up to 15 more and get 15 extra credit points. So this document gives you the opportunity to have 15 bonus points. I had someone ask me the other day, just because I put them on the list, do I have to really have them in my speech? And my question is, why not? If you've got 10 good things to grab attention and keep attention, why wouldn't you want to put them in your speech? The whole point of this document is to get you thinking about how to be persuasive and put that into your speech throughout your speech. So your rubric, your full prep outline, a bibliography page in an MLA format which has the title Works Cited. Make sure that you use hanging indents and that all your entries are in alphabetical order. And then finally, the Monroe's Motivated Sequence document. I'm looking forward to hearing some great speeches, very persuasive, that you're going to arouse cognitive dissonance in your audience. Thank you.